In the realm where shadows dance, under the moon's eerie glance, wizards roam with staves in hand, casting spells of so grand from the icy touch of the hydromancer's side. To the fiery blaze where the pyromancers lie. Magic flows the arcane arts, weaving futures, splitting hearts. In every spell and whispered lore lies a beast with gentle roar. Through the lands it paints its tone, in every bone on the magic song. Necromancers raise the dead, with eerie whispers dread is spread. Some conjure with no wands or staffs, their powers craft both tears and laughs. A force that bends both time and will in magic's grip. The world stands Necromancers raise the dead, with eerie whispers dread is spread. Some conjure with no wands or staffs, their powers grant both tears and laughs. Up through the lands it paints its tone, in every bone the magic stone. But oh, the cost of power's fate, humanity's tender grace, insanity's fragile lace, they tread the edge of madness' embrace. For every spell that's cast anew, a part of them bids adieu. Magic flows, the arcane art, weaving futures, splitting hearts. In every spell and whispered lore lies a beast with gentle roar. Through the lands it paints its stone, in every bone the magic stone.
Today is Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. It is Wizard Wednesday, and it's a good day to join a cult. Channeling in from the Quantum Downs, this is the Black Goat of the Wood, Elf J Trul, and who do I have on stage with me today?
Oh, you got me. You got me, Dotta. We have a full lineup today. It's gonna be great.
The business bear is here also. We're going to lay down some business. We're going to lay some business about Elf being straight up colorblind.
Are
So
you
I'm
wearing your
ready.
business socks?
I'm wearing my business. I always have my business socks on. I only buy business socks.
Okay, I'm ready to argue later, but we got a few other people up on stage. Who else we got?
Fresh on the team, week 2. It's me, your marketing wizard. Hello, everyone.
What up? He's still alive. He made it through.
I'm loving it.
You have really just rolled right in. It's like you were always here. I can't believe it's only been a week. It just feels like forever.
That is too kind of you, Dotta. Thank you. I appreciate that. If it feels like I've been here. It feels like I've been hanging around the cult, making content, hanging out with you guys. So it's just a natural progression of things in my mind. I love it.
I feel like you've been here forever, as long as you think kobolds are green.
All right, Bear. All right, the shots are fired. I'm not ready just yet.
We'll get there.
I just want to throw it to Waz real quick, who we rarely have on stage, the mysterious Magus Wazir. Hello, buddy.
Heyo, yeah, it's your favorite bell ringing wizard.
All right. And Waz, I just wanted to just start the show right off with just a few comments from you. I opened with that really cool song from Proof of Eli, who was the winner of the Battle of the Bots AI Song Contest, of which you were the sole judge, I believe, was. So, can you tell us why you chose that song as the winner?
Yeah, well, to give a little context, there's this new like AI music generation software called Udio. It just came out like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, it's just been like super fun to play around with. So I really just wanted to get it into the Colts' hands, and so I thought the best way to do that was through a contest. And so yeah, so I did the contest, and I chose Proof of Eli, and it came up with a song called Arcane Arts. And yeah, what I really love about it is it's just an earworm. You know, it's just like catchy. It has like a beginning, middle, and end, which is actually like surprisingly hard to do with like AI music, because you only like generate in 30-second bursts. And I think it's like a minute and 30 seconds long. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's super catchy. I just love the rhythm of it. And yeah.
I think I would agree with everything you just said. Dotta, actually, you and Bear both you have a far more musical background than I do. Did you guys hear that song? What'd you think of it?
It's really fun. I think that like you can, you know, it sounds like the AI generated music always sounds a bit like super low encoding, right? Like 32-bit or 64-bit bit rate like songs. So the vocals are really garbled. But I mean, whatever. Stable Diffusion version 1 was just like what 2 years ago, and it was like that in pictures as well. So I thought it was good. One of the things I think is interesting about AI music too is it kind of like it doesn't really keep the structure to the degree of like a cliche music would, and so it ends up actually feeling a bit more modern and a bit more interesting. So I mean, I enjoy it. I like hearing them.
Composition is strong.
All right.
So just want to remind everybody, we are in our influencer era, and we want to get more people in Wizard Wednesday. So here's what I want you to do: reply with a comment to the tweet for the space, which we should have. I guess I should actually have it pinned above. But reply to this space, or give it a fave if you want, or even retweet it if you want. But yeah, give the space a reply, comment, fave. And now we're back to your regularly scheduled Wizard Wednesday.
Yeah. I just want to add on to that. If y'all have noticed, I have been trying to be much more active on Twitter lately. It is
I
just
love the awesome stuff. That's so funny. I like crack up every time.
I'm glad you like it. I was worried you would hate it.
Not at all.
No, but like, I mean, the dirty open secret in NFT world and just crypto in general is like the real secret to getting ahead is just tweeting a lot. You don't have to build. You don't have to make a good product. You just have to tweet a lot.
Oh, boy.
Just talk a lot.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to tweet more, but also we want Wizard Wednesday to spread farther and wider. So it helps if everyone here can share the stream, comment. Apparently, comments really the algorithm really loves comments. So all that stuff, and we'll be sure to just remind everyone of that every Wizard Wednesday.
And if you guys get sick of hearing us ask you to do this, you can blame it all on me, because I'm the one who is in here wrangling that algo. Elon is really argue maxing right now on Twitter. So, you know, like, get in those comments and fight it out. Like, that's conversation and comments will create magic on that algorithm and let everybody know just how cool the cult is.
Yeah, do that, or just talk about like what chain we're going to go to next. I think we should put our whole entire project on pups. I don't even know if that's possible, but Dotta, can you help make that happen?
Yeah. We're moving to Pups Chain.
We're not actually going to do it.
even
We're just going
heard
to
that.
talk about it. We're just going to talk about it.
What, is that? I've never even heard of that. Is that a real chain? Pups chain? What is that?
No, it's a meme coin that's related to the Bitcoin puppets.
Niski has been wanting to do Wizards chain for a long time, so maybe we'll have to let him do it.
Let him do it, Dotta. Let him out of the cage.
That would be so epic.
Cult chain.
Yes. Okay, yeah, just put that on Niski's to do.
Perfect.
Yeah, comment below if you want cult chain.
Okay, so I mean, speaking of like arguing on the timeline, I think we've got like two I'm not going to say arguments, I'm going to say gentlemanly discussions that we could have today. We could discuss the color of kobolds as if that topic hasn't been discussed to death.
Everybody wants to hear about that.
Yeah. But another interesting thing, so well, let me give some context. As you all know, 3D Warriors are in production. I just shared another work in progress just like 15 minutes ago. And we've also seen that the Bored Apes have released their full 3D collection. I think us and Yuga are one of the very few NFT collections that has every single character in 3D. I know like Vipe Heroes has theirs, but they started out as 3D, so it's not quite the same. Still very impressive. But I'm just going to go ahead and say that we're the best again on this particular topic. Opinions.
I need to go. Actually, I've when they had that last trip where everybody was playing as their ape, I was pretty damn impressed with their models. I think we know out of anyone how hard it is to do 10,000 plus like fully rigged models.
Yep.
And we like went out to an outside studio. They did the whole collection. We said they're not good enough. We canned it. We started over. Elf like built a team in house. That's when Frog came in and Molly was with us. Like it's just such a laborious task. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to fade our models. I think we have the most incredible looking models. I also feel like a lot of people say that too, so I don't feel like I'm even that biased.
I think it's fun to see the apes models. I'm glad that they look good and that people like them. I think like for me, I think that Yuga invented this space and is leading the pace in a lot of ways. And for as much of like the flack that they've taken, I think it's only good for everyone for Yuga to make a comeback. And I think that like Garga has done a good job kind of with the reins the last few kind of weeks, however long it's been, of just like bringing back, being the face, being in tune with what people are saying. So I don't like, I want other side to be like incredible, and I want the apes to like love it, because I think that's just good for the space. And so
Yeah.
yeah,
I totally agree. I think one thing that they have that we don't is like a full like they're not just like building models in a vacuum. They're building models and they are building a huge platform for people to use those models, there's holders to use their models in something. And I think that's another thing that like a lot of people just miss the boat on is they make things and then like there's nothing to do with them. It's like people arguing about like whether holders have IP rights or not. It's like, well, who gives a shit if no one cares about the IP? And so I think that's like serious props to the apes, that they're actually building something that they're going to be able to use the models in, and that they already are using the models in.
yeah.
I think Garga has been power posting a lot lately, and it's honestly, it's giving me a lot of good vibes and hope for Yuga really just turning the whole thing around, which I think they will as well.
Same.
Garga's a smart dude. Sorry, were you saying something, Jitsi?
No, I was just agreeing. I think it's like blatantly obvious that when Garga's tweeting stuff that has like his pulse on the crypto space, that people's confidence rises, right? Like I don't even know who the last quote unquote CEO was because he never tweeted a damn thing, right? Like, there is something to be said about the fact that those who are building alongside of us know what's happening in the space more than those who aren't. So it just like builds confidence across the entire board. Like, I honestly believe that 10 ETH might have been the ape's bottom here. Like, it's that might have been it. That might have been it.
I was thinking about buying an ape when it was touching there, but then I just have PTSD from Moonbirds. I bought the Moonbird at 15 ETH, and then I joined. I was like, "Hey guys, look, I'm part of this cool club," and they're like, "Get out of here! We're poor. We're mad."
I remember that, Jody. You were like so amped, and you like tweeted about you got the Moonbird. You jump in there, and you're like, "You guys are toxic as hell."
Yeah.
I mean, you did get a cool Moonbird. You got one of the coolest, that's for sure.
Well, I wish I could trade it for a bored ape.
Makes you feel any better. I had a similar experience, Dotta. Did anybody catch Gordon Goner's tweet this week that he wrote like as his CIA handler?
Oh my god, I
that was
loved that.
hilarious.
That was really funny.
Probably my favorite content on the timeline this week. Gotta say.
We need to get him writing some comedy. I feel like let's get him his own TV show. Although I remember that
What?
Bear's gone.
what was that podcast called that he was on? Him and Garga posted it.
Oh yeah,
it was like F the Metaverse or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Do you remember when they were like, "You guys should come down and be on it"? And we're like, "Okay." And then we were like, "Okay, we'll come down next week." And then they're like, and then I think Gordon got sick, and they're like, "We have to postpone it until the show." I was like,
"Yeah, we were gonna be that. We were gonna go." Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I want Yuga to be successful. I think the 3D models look great. But I also haven't seen that many of them because of the reason that I don't like is that they're token gated. I think that's a terrible choice.
Oh,
let's get into it.
Let's go right now.
Okay. This is a topic that that is a contentious topic in Magic Machine, and actually, I think across Web3.
And also, and something that I think that the cult is going to have a stance on.
So I want to see opinions on this in the Secret Tower. Here's my position.
Or come up on stage and voice it.
Here's my opinion. I think with all the 3D models, if you own a character, you should have the option to token gate it, meaning a little toggle that allows you to say, I do want to allow other people to use this 3D model, or I don't want to allow other people to use this 3D model. Reason is, blockchain is all about digital ownership, digital property ownership. This is a core feature of what it means to own something, which is you have the option to allow others to use it or not. And if you don't have that option, then I feel like you don't have true ownership of the asset. That's my take in a nutshell. Dotta.
Yeah. Okay. So from my perspective, I think there's a couple of pieces. I think that if there is a game that is token gating assets, so let's call it like Nifty Island, right? So Nifty Island lets you connect your wallet. They have supported collections, and you pick the model that you use. I think that in the case that you're representing sort of your token as an avatar in a Web3 context, I think I'm in agreement with that, which would be like, I wouldn't want Nifty Island to say, you can be any wizard you want when you come join a Nifty Island. No. It's Nifty Island's responsibility to token gate your persona. I think I agree there. I think that I think that where we get hung up on is this idea of can you mute your Discord, Badoops? Where we get hung up on is this idea of like, should you be able to go to the website and see other people's models? And two, should you be able to go to the website and download other people's models? My contention is the answer is yes. I basically think that that the benefits of people being able to download and use the models from an open API far, far, far outweigh the benefit of trying to keep them hidden because they're easier to share, they're easier for devs to use, right? Jay of the Sun has used a ton of the models within his video like DJ suite, and nobody has to kind of like, you don't have to track down all those holders and get their 3D models or whatever. You just go and you download the ones that you want and you can use it. And I think especially for like a nascent brand, it's more important that we spread the ideas rather than we try to lock them down.
So I would just say that, like Jason's videos are a perfect example of just totally open. So the benefits of them being totally open.
Yeah.
My counter would be, though, there's literally 10,000 assets for him to choose from. He will surely be able to find enough that are open to make that content. And there'll still be a small handful of people who want total ownership of their asset that he just doesn't have access to.
I just feel
Okay.
like if you own one of our characters, you should have the right to share that or not share that. It's like, do you want to run into someone like who's playing you in something? Do you want people
Well,
like
Dota is basically being Klaus Schwab over here. You will own
Yeah.
nothing and be happy.
But also,
No,
wait,
do you
one
think-
last thing, Dotta, real fast. One last thing though. I also think it depends on how you like roll it out. Maybe there is an option. The default is it's open and anyone can use it, but the owner can swap it. So it's like it's an active decision to a conscious decision to just have it be your own.
do you think that the owner of an NFT should be able to have a switch to turn it off so you can't see the picture? Like you go to OpenSea and it's like, oh, this pixel image is hidden. The owner didn't want other people to see it.
I think that's a little extreme, but sure, why not? I mean, I don't think
I mean-
anyone would choose to do that, but it's their asset. It's their
Yeah,
property. They own it.
if I buy something, I should be able to do what I want with it.
No way. You guys are just trying to make an argument. That's a ridiculous idea.
No.
Because then
No.
people will go to OpenSea and you can't see the art. There's a tragedy of the commons there, right? Because now what you're actually doing is encouraging people to withhold their character from the universe. That's
I
not
don't
like
think
Yeah,
anyone
but that's
would
an
do that.
additive to the
extreme. But that's an
system.
extreme example to prove
It's
your
not.
point.
What's the difference between
It
two
is.
dimensions and 3 dimensions? What's the difference
Well,
between
no,
a
no,
picture
no,
and a
no.
Dota.
model?
I'm not saying whether someone can see it or not. That's very black and white.
Okay,
Pun
guys.
intended.
We've got other people up here. Bill's got his hand up. What do you think, Bill?
Well, what if you could have the owner decide on what kind of licensing they wanted to
That
have
is totally
for their
true.
own individual
I'm
token?
100% on board with that. We actually have that super clearly defined, which is if you have, or if you're making a non-commercial use, you can use any wizard in the collection for non-commercial use. If you want to use it for commercial use, you have to get permission from the owner. So I'm totally on board there. That's completely aligned with what we're doing.
Yeah, I like that too. Matto, what do you think?
I think I do like the idea of like maybe rolling out as default where you like it's open, but then like a user can toggle it. I think it is slightly different from a 2D asset versus 3 asset concerning you can right click save like an image like whenever. You can't really right click save like a model. Like it's a lot more involved and it's a lot more intricate to actually like put it into stuff rather than just like upload it onto Twitter like, oh, I'm using the profile picture. You can't really do that with like a 3D model really. There are other sites that like they specifically like serve for like 3D models and like selling like marketplaces to sell 3D models, and they also have like those options where it's like the uploader can make it like free for anybody, or like you can just view the model, but you can't actually like download the assets unless you actually like buy it or something, or they just have it completely private where you can view the model, but like nobody has access to really download it either because like they just have it as their personal use. I actually did that for one of my Magus Devon model that I put up. I put it up so that way anybody can view it. They can like look at it like with the web viewer and stuff, but they can't actually use the asset themselves. I'm sure like there's some way that you can like you can probably download it from the browser. I mean, it's downloaded in your cache because you're interacting with it, like right. It's like I'm sure there are ways that people can like actually extract it from the web page if they really wanted to get like nitty and gritty with it. But I think for most users that's like out of the way. And I think on the other hand, I think there's a lot of wealth in having the models just be open for people to use, because then you have like things like what Jay made, right? That it's like even though he does have access to like, let's say like there were people who did token gate it, like there's 10,000, so like maybe he can get some people right to go in there. It's just a lot easier for him and builders in general to not have to even bother like tracking people down or anything, and just to have a database. And I think just in general for content creation, like I think one thing about the Bored Apes, I like their models, but like Dola said, because they're closed, I don't really see a lot of people are probably going to be making content for them, especially because I don't even think they're rigged either. I think that they look good, but I think that they take work to actually use. So like they're similar to probably like the Clone X models. That's like, here are the models, but like you have to actually like learn how to use them. And so for that, I think we're not going to see as much content as we could, like for those reasons combined. Like if they came out of the gate like with completely rigged models and they were open to people, I can imagine a lot of people making like videos of apes just doing like random crap, like like punching miladies and stuff, whatever, if they want to have like revenge for the milady.
Whoa. I don't recommend. By the way, I don't recommend
Matto,
punching a milady.
So it sounds like you're on the side of giving the owner the option.
Yeah, I think I'm on the side of giving the owner option with it being by default open. I mean, I think part of it also is that like you kind of like part of it is also like what Dota said, that as a Nansen IP, you kind of want to spread it more than like gate it, because you're just it's so restrictive. I think like it makes sense for if you're like super large. Like I can imagine like maybe like Disney, if they ever release like some token 3D model, they could probably have a token gated and be perfectly fine because they're so huge, people will clamor for it anyway, right? So
I like the idea of default open. That's totally fine with me. Bridge, I know you got an opinion on this.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Sup, Bridge?
All right, hey, I was rugging for a minute. Yeah, no, I'm on the same side of the opt in, opt out. If you bought the token, I think you should have the option of switching it. I don't think you should go so far as not being able to let anybody see that token. I think that's an important part of the creation of the token. But definitely when it comes to like commercial rights, etc., having the ability to control that, I think, is the most important thing.
See, but here's the thing: is for me, it's so ideologically tied to the point of this whole project, which is like what I hear when people say, "Oh, you should be able to hide the download from the 3D." To me, it is no different than right-click save, right? Like the idea with right-click save, the problem, like the critics saying, like, "Oh, I right-click saved your picture." It's saying this idea that like we prioritize ownership, right? The NFT doesn't prevent other people from like downloading it or viewing it or distributing it, right? Where is the value? Where is the value in NFTs? This is like the key insight for why NFT works. And it's this idea that the value is in the ownership, the value is in the rights. And so for me, I'm fully on board with like the ownership aspect of the digital token, with the right to be able to use it within a metaverse at the exclusion of someone else. But this idea that we say, oh, and we also should put up this artificial barrier that you can't download it from the website, or also this tragedy of the commons aspect where we just say, yeah, also if somebody wants to take their ball and go home, right? Like if you own Gigas Chad, you should be able to turn it off so that way nobody else can download it or use that character in any of their storytelling. No. I think that that's like detrimental to the group, and that's not something that like
You're
we would ever
conflating
want
a
to
bunch
encourage.
of different things, dude. Like, sure, people can write stories about others characters, but using a
Maybe
3D
they
game
shouldn't,
asset
right?
is a very specific
No,
thing.
maybe stories should be default open, but you can turn it off. And you can say, oh, if you mention Gigas Chad in your story, it needs to be blocked from the book of lore
No,
because I didn't
no,
give you
no,
the
no,
rights. It's the same
no,
thing. Why is it different?
no. It's not the
Why is it
same
different?
thing. Because one is just generalized IP that can be used anywhere on
Nah.
your own effort, and the other is a very specific asset to be used in very specific contexts.
Nah. Whether it's a flat picture, like if you want to take the position of saying, yes, you should have total control. If you want to turn off the 2D picture on OpenSea and block the 3D model and prevent people from writing about you in the book of lore, because you should have total ownership of this character, including removing it from like anybody else even looking at it. Like I think that's a consistent position, but
No,
that's not a
no,
project that
you're
I would
going too
encourage.
far. No,
No, I'm being consistent.
No.
You're being
No,
super
it's
arbitrary by saying, "Oh, the 3D model is different."
no.
from every real
I'm
picture.
separating a specific asset and its use cases from more broad use cases.
It's just arbitrary, though.
It's not arbitrary.
Okay,
Game
I've
design is
got.
very different from an idea. Sorry, who else has an opinion?
Okay, this is Maple Dad, and this is maybe looking at it from even one step above. So, what did we buy these tokens for?
I guess
I
nobody.
didn't buy the token.
Nobody wants to enter the arena.
Oh,
Dotta,
Meeple's talking.
Meeple
we
Dad
can
is
hear
talking.
Meeple.
Yeah.
Sorry, go
Oh
ahead,
man,
Meeple.
Dota can't hear it. That's all right.
Wait, no.
What
Dota, hold on for one second, Meeple. Dota, leave and come back so we can
I
hear
kicked
Meeple.
him. I kicked
Okay.
him. He'll come
Okay.
back.
Not a good Twitter space if somebody doesn't get rugged.
Yeah, no, keep going, Meeple, because you're onto something really, really strong right there.
Go for it, Meeple.
These tokens, I didn't buy a 3D model. I didn't buy a 2D JPEG. My wizard is a piece of IP that transcends all of that. And if somebody else went out and took my JPEG and created a 3D model out of it, I can't stop them. And I've got no interest in stopping them. Right on. You just made my wizard more legendary. Good for you. So why would I feel any differently about the 3D models that Elf made on my behalf? That's fantastic. So I think it's one step even higher, that the thing that imbues value into what we do here is what it means on a deep, deep level, and whether or not the tokens are there, or the art is there, or the models are there is secondary. Let's create as much as we can, as fast as we can, so the more people see and interact with this stuff, and that's it.
So, Meeple, listen, I agree with you, but here's the difference. That's your position about your property. What I'm saying is give everyone that option to decide whether they want to do that or not, because it is their property at the end of the day. It's all about the optionality. I don't care what you do. And in fact, I hope everyone makes their assets open and usable. But for those who want to limit access to their own property, I want to give them that option.
I think
That's my take.
I think one thing to consider is that even with platforms like Nifty Island, you can still upload your own avatar to use, right? So what if somebody did want to have I want complete token gate access of my wizard. I don't want anybody to download my wizard and then use it in Nifty Island and walk around with my wizard model, and they have that option, because even though getting the 3D model from the token asset itself is token gated, if you download and just upload it to Nifty Island, you can just walk around with it, right? And you can do that for
But
other
that's
things.
again, that's right click save, right? That's
Yeah.
oh, you downloaded my PFP and you're using
Right.
it on Twitter, and it's no, within NFTs, we have the context with one another of knowing who owns what, and you get shamed if you use someone else's deal, and so you deal with it at a social level.
Right.
No, but that shame proves my point, which is the social shame isn't enough of a barrier. I think it's good to introduce technical barriers as well, because that shame shows that we all agree it's frowned upon to use something without someone else's permission.
Yeah, I think Meeple came up with a really good perspective for this, because the tennis ball that gets knocked back and forth is the illusion of control over these assets. And just like Dotta's saying in different words, the right click save is always going to be an option, no matter what. So what I'm connecting with is just the ability, the option that Elf is talking about, when it's generated by Magic Machine, when it's generated by the core users, just having the option, I think, is key. But yeah, you're always going to have the ability to right click save or generate.
I don't think that the option is key. I think that the option is destructive to the brand, because that I think that setting up a tradition, which is you withdraw your character from the ecosystem, it is it's one of the fundamental designs of the system, which is to say, no, you can't do that. For non-commercial purposes, the entire Runeverse is available to anyone in the world to build on and create for non-commercial purposes. That's a fundamental anchor of the design of the IP of our project. And so to say all of a sudden, oh, this 3D thing, that doesn't apply there. There's no thesis about it. To me, it's not aligned with the greater brand, which is every artist on Earth should be creating art about Forgotten Runes for free to promote the brand. That is the most successful way. Like, we're turning away from the old model of Disney and of Harry Potter and of these other estates where they're trying to be super restrictive with their IP and say, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't build on it. If you build on it, I'm going to sue you." We say, no, our value is in the cryptographic ownership of the token, and we want to make these assets in this world available to any child, any adult, anyone in the world can use these assets for non-commercial use. And if you want to do commercial use, then you buy the token and participate. And so whether that's 2D, whether that's movies, AI, 3D, all of it is available to anyone in the world. That's my
But why even buy a token to begin with?
Well, why should you buy a token to begin with? Because the idea is that people who own the tokens are able to benefit from the commercial rights when we have the growth of the IP, right? That
But that's
when
the
you have,
only benefit is commercial rights, nothing else.
I thought
Not
it was just
exclusive
being in a.
use of the token. It's just commercial rights.
well, that's the
But
financial
apparently
reason.
those commercial rights are actually open to everyone, whether you own the token or not.
Jeez, did I get rugged? Hello.
No,
I
We
can
can
hear
hear
you.
I can hear you.
Hello.
I mean, the main reason I'm in a cult is because it's a cult, and I've
Man, I
always
don't think
wanted to
my
be in a
connection's
cult.
very good.
Dota's gone again.
Dota's gone again.
Elf, the reason you buy the token is because anyone, any organization can choose to interact with this open and public ledger, the blockchain. For example, this really cool company called Magic Machine could choose to create all these really awesome things that give people who own these digital tokens privileges, bonuses, options to participate in what they're building. And Magic Machine can do this. Any other company in the world could choose to do this as well, which is part of the beauty.
But what I'm asking people is like, you bought a wizard. You didn't buy Matto's wizard. And yet you write a bunch of stories about Matto's wizard and you use Matto's wizard in videos and stuff. Don't you think that's a little strange and kind of runs against the idea of ownership?
Well, if that's the thing, right? Is if someone is monetizing your IP, then you get a cut from it, right? That's the way it should be.
Exactly. And I think that like what the unspoken part here is this idea around um like the aggregate effects of friction in the creative process, right? When you have something like you see this with the open source software a lot, right? When you can search up a piece of software, you can download it, you can use it, right? You find an asset, you download it, you use it. When you're just getting started and you're like, oh, I'm experimenting with something, I don't know if this is going to turn into anything. I'm just going to like try it out. Where do you go? You go for all the free stuff. You're like, I'm going to try this open code, or I'm going to try this open asset, and I'm just going to see where it goes. And if you went to a website and they're like, oh, you got to pay all this money to do this thing, you're like, nah, I'm just going to try the free thing until I know if I have something. And so what you get is this like aggregate effect to like openness, where this like mind share happens, where people use the open thing, then they talk about what they build, they share what they built. And so that's exactly the kind of effect that we want to get from wizards and our 3D models, which is like, I want to make an asset pack on the Unity asset store where you can like if you want to use wizards in your game, then you can use any wizard you want, and you just download the pack and then include it in your game, right? Because
Dota, I don't disagree with you. I think we're talking about two different things with just a subtle difference. Yes, everybody wants the brand to go far. Everybody wants the IP and the characters to be used in as many creative things as possible. We all agree on that. I'm talking about a separate thing. I'm talking about just the ability to allow an owner of an IP, of a character, to have the option to not allow people to do that. I don't even think most people in the cult will choose that option. I just want to reinforce this idea of ownership through that option. But my guess is like maybe 5% of people will actually take that option.
Well,
So
maybe there's
both of these points can coexist together.
Well, I think it's like it's between Feckless just said this and stemmed from something that Jason said in Discord is like maybe I think there's a difference between access and rights, and I think you can bifurcate those things.
Right. So why should you limit access to the 3D model and not limit access to the picture? Literally, there's one dimension of a difference. Why is that
Dotta,
different?
the picture is limited though. Like true ownership of the picture is limited. Therefore, true ownership of the 3D model should also be limited.
We're talking about access, not ownership. Right? There's access, ownership, and rights. 3 different things. We're actually aligned on ownership, and we're actually aligned on IP rights in MeatSpace. What we're actually negotiating is access for the
Here's
file.
the difference, because a 2D image, a 2D asset, really can't be used in that many things in the way that a 3D game asset can.
Come on.
A 3D game asset has so much more functionality. No, this is not like ambiguous. Like game context and metaverse context and 3D video context. There's a ton more utility for a 3D game asset than there is just a 2D image. And so limiting that, giving that option to the owner is all I'm advocating for.
Well, what about like your lore? I mean, I think the uses for like the text that you write about your wizard is applicable in a lot more use cases than a 3D model. So should you be able to hide your lore so other people can't see it?
If you choose to do that as the owner, then sure. But I doubt anyone would do that because that would be detrimental to the spreading of their IP. Nobody really wants to hide their characters.
So why should they get the right? Why should we give them the right for it when it's actually detrimental to everyone else in the cult?
It's not detrimental to everyone in the cult. Like again, like 2 people will actually do that. It's their property. Let them have the option to do it. It's all about the option. I don't think anyone is actually going to take it. I'm just trying to reinforce this idea of digital ownership. Okay, sorry. Anyone else got? There's a few new people up on stage. I think. Oh wait, hold on.
There is no cake. I love you.
I've got a question in relation to this conversation. You know, somebody wrote "Forgotten Runes" onto a rune this week, and you know, we know who it was, and you know what their intention was with it. I'm curious about, you know, Dotta's. He had a good tweet on it, but I'm curious about his opinion in relation to this conversation about somebody just having the balls to write that on runes and put a little wizard image next to it and just run with it.
Dotta invited that person to come to his office because I think he was displeased. No, I think Dotta's rugging again. In my opinion, it doesn't bother me. I think it's fine. Again, I'm all for the spreading of our content in any way possible, but you know that's separate from this idea of ownership.
Oh, we're talking about the Bitcoin rune, Forgotten Runes. That was so annoying.
Dotta, I thought you wanted our IP to spread it as far away as possible.
Well, what I didn't like about
by
it
any
is,
means.
What I didn't like about it is they didn't even use our IP for the picture. They used like some
clip art, just
art
general
or AI art. That
It was an
not,
AI gen.
Yeah.
But I wish they used an actual wizard.
And even that could have been okay, but they like haven't shown themselves. Like, who are you? DM me. Let's get these tokens. Like, let's give these runes to wizards, right? Like, we can hook up a website where people can claim them if they don't want to pay the gas. We can fund the fees. So even beyond the fact that they, that they used weird clip art, the distribution mechanics are super weird. They like pre-mined, what was it, 90%, but not 100, but not 0. And they haven't reached out to actually get these tokens in the hands of Forgotten Runes holders, as far as I know. So it was like the whole thing was just like, super annoying. Whatever. I guess I should have just put up a couple Bitcoin to make sure that we get it up top. But at the same time, I think you've seen actually this is a good segue actually away from this argument.
Wait, hold on before you segue, Dotta. There are people requesting to come up, and I cannot let you up because there's already too many people on stage.
Oh.
So if you don't have anything more to add, please bounce. But actually, Emily wants to say something, I think, before we segue.
Oh no, I was gonna I was gonna jump down. I was waving like, okay,
Oh, okay.
bye.
Okay.
But I do want to say that Ethan and Shippy, sorry. Well, no, you're doxed already. We ate a bunch of donuts and I feel my tummy hurts, so I was like gonna jump down anyway. And that's all I had to say about that. And kobolds are green. Okay.
How dare you? You're
Bye.
gone. You're gone.
Goodbye.
Emily loves to have the tennis ball color conversation quite often between our friends. I'll have to ask them about kobolds specifically next time that we do
so
this.
funny. Okay, sorry, Dotta. Chicken, did you have a take on this?
Yeah, I was just going to add, I don't understand how you can split the IP between commercial and non-commercial. Like, there's a reason that brands protect their image so heavily. So if I make, and it's going to be the people who do well and become popular, right? So if I write lore or make a character that becomes the most popular out of the 10,000 wizards, who are people going to try to capitalize or use the image of? They're going to use the most popular ones. So like the example I just posted, if I have a kid's toy that's popular from my wizard that gets featured in a TV show, and then somebody takes that image and does something that I don't like with it, probably something inappropriate or that goes against the character or brand that I've created, just because it's not commercial, I still have to have the right to make that stop. Otherwise, what's the point of building on that character if anybody can take the character's lore or whatever in any direction they want?
So these are great questions. So so here's how this works on a technical basis, right? Which is like part of what we did really early on, probably 2 years ago now, was work with our lawyers, Fenwick, to establish a chain of IP rights that fit our group's principles that were also tenable with existing intellectual property rights, particularly in the United States. Okay, so I'm going to tell you some things that might be new for some of you, and understand that it comes from a place which is like trying to build IP rights that work within an existing structure. I think that I don't have them in front of me. It's been a while since I read them. Basically, what happens is Magic Machine actually has an overarching right to the artwork that are in the NFTs, and Magic Machine actually grants those rights to the owner of the token. And so there is an aspect in which Magic Machine is able to enforce rights for certain situations. One of the situations is being able to use these characters for, like, let's say hateful content, right? So there's like a couple instances, right? Like hateful content is one of them, and a few other unsavory situations. In that case where somebody makes whatever, some images that none of us would like, and then they start trying to, say, commercialize that. You can think of, for example, the Yuga Rider Rip situation where there was questionable things being created on their side. There is a case where Magic Machine could take legal action, should we decide to, in U.S. courts, to say, you can't make Forgotten Rune stuff that's like merch that's hateful towards this other group, right? So that's already dealt with. The other type of rights that people kind of go with is Creative Commons, right? Where this is almost just like abdicating your responsibility um, to, to any kind of like commercialization of the intellectual property. This would be like nouns, for example, is the best. System, Moonbirds being the pathological one, where with nouns, at least they're saying like, we're so decentralized on we're such a believer in the cryptographic value that all of the value accumulates exactly to the NFTs. So we're fine with Creative Commons because we don't need anyone to monetize any of these abstract things like paintings or merch necessarily, because the IP is completely open. I think that is totally idealistic and unpractical. I don't think that's a good idea. Why would a licensor ever license nouns IP from one person versus another when they can just use it for free and keep all the profit? And so we designed Forgotten Runes to be a hybrid between the two, which is that as the owner of the token, you can have commercial rights. As a non-owner, you get non-commercial rights. And this is within our like rights as kind of like a U.S. intellectual property creator to enforce this distinction. That's kind of the terms of use of your NFTs. You can find this on our website. Within those commercial rights, you as an owner are able to monetize it up to $5 million without owing a cent in royalties. Right, so that's huge. That's more than I don't think there's anyone in the cult who's made $5 million on their IP yet. I don't know if there's anyone in even Bored Apes who's made $5 million. I should find that out. So you after that $5 million, then you pay basically a royalty, which I believe gets you pay a royalty back, which to Magic Machine and I'd have to look at the exact terms. So, all that to say, you absolutely can split between non-commercial and commercial. You can also deal with these cases where people are doing unsavourable, racist, disgusting like things with it. That's actually pretty well kind of trodden path in IP law.
Does that answer your question, Chicken?
Yeah. Hopefully, I didn't bore you all.
Yeah, that does. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, we can move off the token gated topic. I just want to say one more smartass thing. There is this prevailing idea that like, well, people will find out a way to download the 3D asset anyway, so why even bother with token gating? My response to that is that's what's called a perfect solution fallacy. The point of laws is not to 100% stop the behavior, it's to curb the behavior. It's the reason we have speeding signs, even though people always break the speed limit. And so, putting up a token gated block would at least discourage people from downloading a model that the owner did not want them to do.
That's not my issue. That's not my issue. My issue is super ideological, which is like that there's no difference in right-click save between an image and a picture. That's
well,
my
here's the
ideology.
difference. One is 2D and one is 3D. One can be used in a ton of different more contexts. But whatever, it's fine. Let's argue about something much less contentious. What
Okay,
color
let's do it.
are kobolds?
I don't know which side I'm on anymore. I think I'm going to have to just agree with you and everyone else.
Oh, finally!
Yeah.
Dotta, are you kidding me? Are you kidding
Looks kind of
me?
yellow to me.
Oh my
Dotta,
God.
this is literally the first thing you've ever agreed with me on. So I'm going to
Dotta,
relish this moment.
I'm so disappointed in you, Dotta.
Yeah, I mean, just look at Jitsy's PFP right now. Nobody can tell me that's green. If
It's
you
my
think that's green,
PFP. I can say it's green if I want to.
Owner's rights.
Oh man, so stupid. Okay, but honestly, this debate is ridiculous. I think what I've decided is going forward, the color. I'm only going to use colors that sit perfectly in between two other colors, so we can have this argument even more. But no, we don't have to talk about this either. Dotta, did you have like other topics you wanted to talk about, or anyone else actually?
I mean, we could talk about Bitcoin runes a little bit.
Yeah, that's a topic. Go for it.
Well, I think it's been fun to see it. Well, I'll open up the topic and other people can pipe in kind of on their thoughts. So, I think that okay, I do think that Bitcoin runes have had kind of like a lukewarm response. The pricing of the runes has been relatively slow, and it's not really clear if that means it's a good buying opportunity or just like a flop as a product. I don't think it's a flop as a product. I do think for sure that there is enough money in the people who create Bitcoin DeFi products that we are surely headed into a DeFi summer of Bitcoin. I think that like for as much as you see people complaining about the runes crashing, the early runes not being important, or like the high fees or whatever, I think that like the way that BRC20 works is so janky, but like people still keep moving forward because what you basically can do is build these Bitcoin DeFi products and they can be janky, but you can make a ton of money on the speculation of being this like new product on the father chain or whatever. So I think that you should still pay attention to Bitcoin DeFi. I think that people who build it are most likely to use runes rather than BRC20 in the future. And so in that regard, I think it's still worth paying attention to. I think that Bitcoin is going to be a really like terrible chain for meme coins. So one of the things that happens with ETH, right, is like oftentimes if your transaction fails, you get a refund for any excess that you sent. In Bitcoin, that doesn't happen. If you spend a ton of Bitcoin to get your thing included, and you don't you miss the mint or whatever, like it's minted out, you don't get a refund for your fees. You actually just get like you just lose your money, and so that is brutal. That is brutal. It's so Bitcoin, and and the fees are really high and the block time is really slow, so it's like exactly the opposite of what you would want for meme coining, right? Like Solana is going to outpace for any kind of like mainstream use Bitcoin runes for I think a long time, which is why you've seen this really tepid response. I mean, I guess like the top rune right now actually does have like a 2 billion market cap, so that's actually pretty good. Maybe I'm wrong to call it tepid, but I still think that like Solana is going to be way better for this than Bitcoin. People will still try to make it happen. One of the things you're seeing with these early runes is kind of the early ordinals have also really cooled off, right? Like all the sub 1K or sub 10K. The sub 10K floor price is not that high. It's like 0.06 or something, or maybe zero point 0.1. And you're seeing basically people don't really care about the early runes that much. Magic Eden just rolled out some tools today, so maybe that'll help turn things around. They are super on fire. But well, whatever. That's my introduction to runes. Happy to let people talk about their thoughts and the things they're holding. I have some. I've sold some, bought some. Yeah. Anybody else have like who's trading runes and who wants to talk about it?
Literally nobody.
Yeah, just me.
Well, I guess that's the answer. I
Yeah.
mean,
I got
put
a bit into
go ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
No, I mean I got a bit into it, but I didn't really trade. I think the high fees were definitely like a big, and then also like there was on top of the high fees there were like some hiccups, especially with I think the Unisat wallet had an issue where like they weren't configured properly, and so they were actually burning people's sats when they were like trying to like mint runes or send runes. So that was a big issue at first. Since like I think a lot of people kind of like backed off from like stuff like that too. Um, I think I mentioned before. I think I mentioned like the other week that similar to what Dota said, that like I think the friction on runes doesn't really make it ideal for meme coins. But I do think that there's like a future to be. I think like right now it's very early, very clunky, but it doesn't mean that there won't be tools like made later. I mean, even ordinals were extremely clunky like when they first came out. They're still clunky a bit, but like there have been tools that make it a lot easier to trade them, like where they're pretty much like similar to NFT experience on other chains. And I don't think we really have that for runes yet. It'll probably take quite a while for them to be more building for that. But I think it's just a combination of one, they were like extremely hyped coming into it. Especially from people who probably like weren't like I'm pretty sure like someone like Ansem probably like didn't really know much about runes, was just like hopping onto like the hype train. And then, like someone like him who's like pretty much exclusive, like works on like salon and stuff, having that like roadblock of like as soon as you reach Bitcoin, it's like have fun with your high block time, right? And like
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a stopper for a lot of people who are interested in it. But that being said, I think it's very early. I think that it's definitely need for tooling. I think that was probably overhyped. And I think right now people are just trying to like they're really like we kind of see almost like that early ordinals rush where people were just kind of like pushing up anything as soon as they can, like so that way they can just get it up early. And a lot of the ideas like really half baked, they're really unoriginal, they just really are kind of like play by the books. How do I make something funny? Haha. And it's not really funny, but like just throw it up there because like you might as well like while it's early and hopefully you strike gold. I think we're gonna see a
Yeah.
lot of spam like that too, and then when that dies down, we're gonna see some actual like development. But right now, it's just everyone kind of getting burnt out because everybody's just like shooting everything up. They're
The
just
early runes are not funny.
yeah, they're
And
not.
a ton of them have not minted out either. So
Yeah,
like if you want to go mint a number whatever early rune, it's there,
yeah, it's
So
there.
It feels very spammy, just like the first like 1,000 ordinals. It's like there was no real intention behind a lot of it, and honestly, I think it was kind of disappointing. And I don't know if this is why it's had a soft response, relatively speaking, but it just feels uninteresting and it feels spammy. And why are people going to want to buy spam? Just think like like you said, Dota, like the early ordinals. Maybe I think that the early ordinals like sub 10K will have their time and place, especially if there's like intention and it's not just spam. But I don't know. I mean, I got in on something in a way that was like sort of a shotgun approach where you get to have like a little bit of like the first couple runes. A friend of ours built a bot, but I don't know. I'm not super into it. And what I also will say about it is I feel so sort of freed by the fact that we're not just chasing like the latest meta. I
Yes.
mean, we never do, but like to think
Yes.
about like, oh my God, like everybody's talking about runes and I literally could give two shits about it. It's so amazing that like we're just doing what we're supposed to be doing and not paying attention. Oh, I feel great about it.
Yes, I think that's something I was thinking a lot about because people were tweeting a lot like, oh, if your founder didn't get in the first block of runes, they're not worth anything, and they're like the shadows are asking like, oh, can you drop us a rune? And I'm like, oh man, like maybe I do need the street cred of like paying up and just being in that block and making forgotten runes. And I was just like, no, like we are doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Like we're working on our mission for what we're trying to do. And what I didn't want to do was create some sort of like half baked meme coin that had like really nothing to do with anything and split liquidity and kind of like and have and throw something into the marketplace that ultimately, without kind of our full backing and our full support behind it, it's essentially a token, a meme token that would just be destined to fail, like many of these runes already have in this first week, right? And so, like, not only would we have like released something that had no plan behind it, but also it would have existed within kind of this framework where a lot of stuff that you would have think would have shot off didn't. So I'm happy not doing a meme coin rune. I think if we do a token, it's going to be something that we throw our full force behind. It has a lot of planning, a lot of like really deliberate structure. So I do
Yeah.
still
Yeah,
think
that sounds
go ahead.
like it would take a long time.
Not as long as you
Sorry.
might think.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
I still think that ordinals are an important um like piece. Like I think that ordinals fit really well for NFTs because the pace of like hand trading NFTs fits like the block time of Bitcoin. It's like you don't really care, right? Like how like if you're buying for your own art collection, you don't really care about the 10-minute block times. But if you're trading a token, you care actually a lot more about the speed. And so again, on the NFT side, for the most part, most NFTs on or like most ordinals are inscribed on chain, and so you get this sort of like long-term durability story that for these like premium expensive assets. You don't care about the fee rate for kind of like a higher end NFT. Again, but with meme coins, you do care because you want low fees, you want to trade them a lot, you want it to be fast, like you want to be snappy. So I still do think that like ordinals has a future. You are seeing a bit of saturation in the market, right? A lot of the kind of ETH 10K collections have now moved over into ordinals, and there's a lot of projects that just feel like redoing ETH projects on Bitcoin, and you can see there's just an exhaustion there, pretty like soft response. So ordinals as a whole is really taking a breath, it feels like to me. But I still think that there's plenty of room for it to grow, but it'll take a moment.
Yeah. I also think like I tweeted this out yesterday or the day before. I think I don't know what it is. I'm sure there's like some kind of like diagnosis, like psychology that humans have, but every time there's like a new thing, whether that's in blockchain or it's in finance or it's in some kind of creative space, there's a new art form. Everybody always thinks that the new thing is going to completely eradicate and destroy the old thing. And I just think that is such a silly stance. And this idea of like there's all this is one thing I do like ordinals and I hold some of them, and not a ton, but it's like these ordinal maxis, like these people who are like, oh, like F ETH NFTs, they're dead. Like Bitcoin is like is like the god chain, and it's superior. And I'm like, you just don't get, like, you don't get it. Like that's such like to me it's such an immature perspective. It's like, no, it's actually just different. It's not better, it's just different. And I think that falls into your sort of thesis, Dota, that like ordinals will have a path and they will have their own space to be themselves, but it doesn't mean it's going to take over. And I think, my prediction is, and what the hell do I know, but in 2, 3, 4, 5 months, I think a lot of the people that are sort of dumping on ETH NFTs are going to have a pretty rude awakening, because I do think that there's going to be a lot of really interesting stuff that's been cooking, including all the stuff that we're doing.
Yep. It looks like we are graced by the presence of Give a Hoot. Hello, buddy.
What's happening? Happy Wizard
What's up?
Wednesday.
So,
Hi.
Yo. I know I was super busy and couldn't join until just now. I didn't mean to interrupt or anything, but I was wondering if
No,
anyone
go for
talked
it.
about Rune's TCG yet.
No, Give a Hoot, please. Tell us what is happening with Rune's TCG. I know you've got a big tournament going on. I was going to mention it in the Chronicle, but I think it's better that you tell us all about it.
Yeah, I saw that the illustrious Tanya Del Rio did include it, so I knew it was going to get some airtime no matter what, but I figured I'd hop on and just talk about it. So, Cole.
Yep.
Did you know that Rune's TCG is hosting a tournament starting next week with a prize pool of $1,000 worth of Prime?
I did know that.
I know you knew that.
No, that's
Let's
a big
go.
deal. That's
It's a fucking
huge,
big
man.
deal. It's huge. And also, Colt, did you know that the $1,000 worth of Prime was donated to the tournament prize pool by our fearless and generous and collaborative cult leaders, the Forgotten Runes Wizard Cult, Dotta, Bearsnake, Elf. With a little help from Nalgene and the rest of the team. So, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I'm super. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do it again. Right now. Do it again. Right now.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay.
But yeah, super appreciative. And yeah, I don't know. I feel honored and blessed to be part of this cult. All the time, especially now. And yeah, but that $1,000 worth of Prime is for everyone to compete for and win and have a good time trying to get. So, the tournament starts next Monday. Signups will stop at on Monday, 12 p.m. EST. And then the tournament will start shortly after. I'm going to release some more details about like the tournament structure and stuff. But yeah, super stoked to kind of play some games. And then shout out to Justin, the other guide, Extraordinary Wiz. He is super stoked. He's been doing a lot of videos on just a variety of Web3 games, including Parallel. He was instantly like parallel pilled. He's like, yo, this is amazing. And so, and was super stoked to see the prize pool. And so we hopped on a Discord VC chat and basically spent half an hour just like walking through like a tutorial-esque type like onboarding flow for Runes. So if anyone's curious about like how to get started, what to do, where to go, he posted the video. It's on Twitter. He's posted it in the Discord. Or if you can't find it, ask him or just look on his Twitter page. It should be near the top. And it's a really great little intro video. So super appreciative to him for pulling me aside and just kind of having a little chat as well.
Now,
both the Runes TCG post and Justin's video are at the top of the space. If y'all want to hop in there, show some love.
There you go. Dude, this is awesome. So there's a huge prize pool on the line. What it sounds to me like this is also a really good time to go buy some more Runes TCG card packs to optimize your chances of getting better cards, which would then optimize your chances of winning the prize pool. Give a hoot. There are still prize packs available, right?
Yes,
Or
there are still
card packs,
plenty
I
of
mean.
packs to mint. Yeah, totally.
Yep.
So that's one thing we didn't cover in that video is the packs available. So just to kind of quickly recap, there's packs ranging from 0.005 ETH to 0.015. And so the 0.005 ETH pack will get you 9 core set cards. And then the 0.01 pack is the limited edition Souls packs. Those are still available and contain some really powerful cards. So you can go to runes-tcg.com. You'll find the cards, the packs there to mint. Then you can open the packs on that website. Super fun opening experiences for all the packs. Tad Major did the animations for all the card openings, and Dr. Slurp did all of the music, and it's freaking phenomenal. And yeah, so packs are still available. Also, a quick shout out to Meeple Dad. He has the Runes Are Us OpenSea account, and so if you don't want to go, there's opening packs is fun. It's amazing. Everyone loves it. But if you do open some packs or if you do collect some cards and you're like, oh, I'm missing like these few cards that I really want to make a deck. He has an OpenSea account, and just a ETH account that has a bunch of cards listed for super cheap. And he'd also probably cut you a deal if you DM'd them and it's like, hey, I really want this card for a deck or whatever. So that's another way to kind of fill out your deck and fill out your hands and stuff like that.
You're saying Meeple Dad has this giant archive?
Yeah, so if you go into OpenSea and type in like runes -r-us, almost like Toys R Us, it should show up. And yeah, it's like his own ETH account that he set up a bunch of listings for individual cards.
Meeple Dad is kind of our resident Magic the Gathering mega fan, so it makes perfect sense that he would have so many Runes TCG cards.
Seriously, yeah, and he gets it. It's like, and he's listening to these things for like for cents or dollars and stuff, but it's more just to kind of like facilitate this, like, it's like the proof concepts where it's like if I buy a pack for 0.005 ETH, but then I can like sell a common for 0.001 or something. It's just a fun ecosystem building exercise. It's like a fun community building exercise.
There's still 1/1 cards in the Souls pack too, right? That haven't been found yet. There's still like 1/1 arts.
There is. So the Souls packs, there's 2,500 total, but there's 9 1/1 pieces of card art hidden in the first 1,000 packs, and so I think there have been 5 found so far. So there's still 4 left. I think the artists of the 4 left are Sweetbread, Oz, Stolamir, and one other artist. It's escaping me. Ysam. I think so. Those 4. I mean, and come on, those are phenomenal artists. And so all of their 1/1s are still hidden there. And yeah, I can't wait till someone opens up the next one.
I've seen the Sweetbread one. It's gorgeous. I haven't seen the others, but the Sweetbread one
It's
is
so
amazing.
good.
Yeah, which is like a whole other
Yeah,
reason to buy the cards, even if you don't want to play. Just like you're collecting awesome art. So 2 reasons to get cards. Awesome. Thanks, Give a Hoot.
But yeah, that's it. If anyone has any questions at all whatsoever, DM me on Discord, DM me on Twitter. I'll reply to any of the Runes TCG tweets about all this kind of stuff. Happy to help. I think also Meeple Dad is planning on playing some games. I think either tonight or tomorrow at 9 p.m. EST. Confirm that real quick. Tonight. So tonight, he wants to play some games. So 9 p.m. EST. Add him in the Discord or something. But he'll be trying to play some Runes games. If anyone's curious, anyone wants to kind of hop on. I know also Bill Gaines is really looking for some sparring partners. I think he's coming to play, and so he wants to kind of up his game a little bit. So reach out to him if you want to play some games too.
Sweet. All right. How about speaking of the illustrious Tanya Del Rio? How about we jump into the cult content?
Let's do it.
Week 66. Okay, I'm gonna switch it up just on the fly right now.
Every damn week.
Dotta or Bear? Do you guys want to do it? I always do it, and I feel like I'm greedy. Do you guys want to, or do you want me to just do it?
I feel like I'm gonna mess it up.
Dotta?
I'll do it. I love it.
Go for it.
First off, we're starting with the song that by Proof of Eli, who wrote the song Arcane Arts, which we listened to as the intro. We'll also listen to that as the outro. So congratulations to the winner there. Waz, are you still here? What does that person win? I don't know if Waz is still here. I think
they won a warrior.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
Yep.
Yes, as we mentioned, the Runes TCG Prime Tournament. Oh, so I don't forget, this isn't the Cult Content Chronicle, but we're still voting. We're voting. The DAO is currently voting, as I understand it. I think the proposal on the docket would be Meeple Dad's new treasure trove box. And if you didn't get it the last time, you missed a real joy. So I would go and vote for that. It would be great for Meeple Dad to do a second treasure trove box. Other guide, other guide, Justin has got a video that talks about Rune's TCG. He's got a video there. Watch it. Give that a fave. Give us some likes. Oh, and look right here. Meeple Dad was showing me this teaser. He actually has a new Secret Tower Lego set. Oh, there's a surprise inside. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, so we'll let Meeple Dad say it. Yeah. So yeah, check that out. The Legos are great. Meeple Dad's also working on a comic book, which is about Ulvis and Napoleon. There was a collab. I tweeted about this earlier in the week, which is from Ozma Bro and Tanya using Magus Devon's wizard for the Shibuya collab, and it's really fun. It has like these like little video game maps and like Game Boy style, and Magus Devon with what is that? It looks like a kitsune. Sweetbread shared the Magus Devon doll, and Magus Devon shared a piece of his wizard. I'm sharing all these tweets up top.
But I got to interrupt just real quick.
Please,
Sweetbread, this little Magus Devon doll you're making is just unbelievably adorable. I can't take it. It's so cute.
Go ahead. You take the next view.
Dotta, you were doing so good.
We can trade off.
Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, Sweetbread, just freaking adorable. I love it. But yeah, there's a lot of Magus Devon art in here. Sweetbread's like little plushie, and then a commission from Furagu 2525, which is actually really cool. I have not seen this artist before. I love it. And then another commission from Mako, I think. Mako 9801. And then Feckless. Feckless, buddy, I love your drawings, dude. They're so cool. Feckless has made a comic. This is part 2 of the Adventures of Nova. And it looks like the kobolds are making an appearance. Although these guys do look green, so you got the color wrong, Feckless, but still, nice looking comic. And then of course he follows up with a wizard doing a kickflip on a skateboard. Continuing with Feckless, we've got. I think this is a piece that Tanya drew of Feckless's Corky Wizard. Very cool. It's kind of in the style of the old Fleischer cartoons. Tad Major. I almost said Chad Major, which would also be fitting.
Nice.
Is minted a fun, chubby little imp. Super cute. Dow X Lab is continuing with some really great AI gins of his wizard. And then also Dow X is basically made a really fun version of Dotta. Your wizard is dancing in the temple. The sneak peek of something we're working on that you shared. Markafine, one of the finest artists in the community, did an awesome banner for somebody named Herner or Hearn that includes a wizard in it. Or no, I think it's a warrior actually, and maybe a wizard. Artsy shared some more of Daniela Illustra's work. Daniela Illustra basically has a piece in every single Cult Chronicle. I don't know if she's missed one in like months. So yeah, Daniela's got 2 entries in the Cult Content Chronicle of the Nightmare Imp. Clooney the Scourge. Clooney the Scourge has been building a lot of awesome stuff on Nifty Island, and he's continuing to do so. It looks like he's got like an entire castle going, or like a dungeon of some kind. Very cool. D'Lo, with one of my favorite wizards in the entire collection, shared an AI gin of his wizard. It says vibing with the homies, and the homies look to be a bunch of goblins in a tavern. DeFi, just DFI, shared a really cool piece of art of their shadow. man, that's some of the coolest shadow art I've seen in a long time. They have a really nice shadow. It's got like the swirly spiral on the face and the goat horns. A hell of a shadow. Crucifor with his Aha Wizard looks like a little bit of a mashup with Hail Draconis and some just other good pieces of art. Suggested Lore, the Twitter account Suggested Lore, shared an entry on shadow number 429. Jay the Sun continues with his trippy wizard dancer videos. This one is number 17. Malevolent did a really fun meme with the Sacred Flame. And finally, Galatea, the Jazzy Druid, shared some new lore of their wizard, and of their warrior actually. And I think that's it.
Oh, there's a couple more. Meeple
Oh.
Dad did a riddle of the day. Wild Mage revealed the Wizard of the Coast. They have a treat, Forgotten Runes treat, which looks like a radio custom treat. And then, well, that was the last one. There you go.
Oh, that was the CB radio that was given on Magic Monday News.
That's right. Yep.
Cool.
Also on Magic Monday News, that epic burn that happened for Alisar.
Oh my God,
that was
yes.
a pleasure to
Yeah,
witness.
that Mage Wild, I think.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
absolutely.
It was right after or during Magic Monday, which was, by the way, they had me on and was so much freaking fun. Oh my God. We had a tear.
I just got to say, I listened to a few minutes of it. My favorite part was when you didn't know what a Naga was.
I didn't know what a
Naga?
Naga was. I thought you were going to say your favorite part was when I said possums should probably get a little bit more hair on their tail.
Okay, I didn't hear that part. That's my new favorite part.
I don't know what a Naga is.
You guys, good thing you have me here.
How do you know Naga is?
I've inadvertently drawn Nagas, but I didn't know it was called a Naga. Will you tell him, Elf? Tell him.
Well, it's a creature from Hindu mythic folklore, and it's basically like a half snake, half man. It's basically any kind of monster with like a big snake body. But yeah, speaking of wild mage,
like kind of like Jafar.
Kind of, yeah. Jafar
yeah.
did turn into a Naga at the end of the movie.
Yep.
I'll upload a couple of videos into the Discord. I'm surprised you haven't seen them do it. They're like from like the Warcraft world, like Warcraft 2, 3, World of Warcraft.
It like imagine a centaur, but instead of a horse, it's a snake. Cool. Wild Mage, what's up?
I just wanted to let everyone know that Entropy is going to be our guest on this coming Monday Magic News, so that way we can all get to know him a bit more. And I'm going to be burning that Canaanite wizard I picked up the other night.
Wild Mage.
Such a good whiz.
Wait, the wizard that you burned wasn't the Canaanite?
No, that was a Cloud Prophet wizard, actually. And then after a conversation with Bill and Henboy, I realized I ought to just go ahead and use that other secret flame I've got. So we're going to burn that Canaanite live on Monday.
Wow. Okay.
Back-to-back burns,
Yep.
baby.
Fun fact about the Canaanite wizard is that I actually bought that wizard from Tad Major, like I think almost like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and then sold the wizard as part of getting the funds for my Black Mage, and then Jabir, and then Tad Major actually bought it back off of me because he wanted it, and then he must have sold it, and so Oxnard, might be meeting his ends, a little bit, but he's certainly made his rounds around the cult. So it's fun to see. It's kind of fun to see like how like on chain like transactions can kind of like almost create lore around some of these characters. So, and so just part of his history. It's part of like kind of like his story.
I can't believe you have a Black Mage. It's amazing. It's really epic.
Got to pinch myself every day. I saw RYF this past NFT NYC and just spent like probably about an hour thanking him for kind of helping me get him. So yeah, RYF's a Chad.
Yeah.
I love what you said, Givahoot, about like just the trading history alone is kind of part of a wizard's lore. I think that's super fun. I would love to like represent that in the book of lore in some like fun narrative way, but that's a topic for another day. I have to bring up one last point, bringing it back to the 3D token gated title, just because I cannot help myself. Dotta, do you think there's a difference between like a poster of a Lamborghini and a literal 3D Lamborghini?
Oh boy.
Because here's my analogy. You can use a 3D Lamborghini in the 3D world in so many more ways than you can a picture of one sitting on your wall. That is exactly analogous to a 3D game asset being used in 3D game worlds. That's my point. I know there's probably no rebuttal on your end because there really isn't one. So I'm happy to end there.
You wouldn't download a car, would you?
No, but you can lock it in your garage because you own that property. Therefore, you know, you want the option to lock it away. Or you can rent it out and drive Uber. It's your option.
I'm gonna make
Elf,
a meme of
I
this.
still want to get into this whole yellow green thing, but we can save that for
Okay.
another time. I think you saw that I reposted the space with a non-photoshopped percentage color test, and it was 84% green. You saw that, right?
I did not see that. Should we extend the show another 30 minutes so that we can argue with it?
I'm gonna arm wrestle you
Oh.
over this, and if I win, you're gonna have to say it's green. Do you agree to these terms?
Bear, I do agree to those terms.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm literally flying to you right this tonight. You better get ready. I'm serious. I'm coming to you tonight. I'll be there in 2 hours.
Homie,
everybody wanted.
I'm already on my way
Dog, I'm live.
to see you. That's how confident I am.
Oh my god, I'm so happy.
Oh shit! No, Bear. It's funny because I have been trying to think of like the stakes of our next arm wrestling match, and I think you just landed on it. So
this is exactly what we should be arm wrestling over, and I am so excited to literally rip your arm off.
I can't wait, buddy. I can't wait. I hope you're ready. All right. Anything else from anybody?
I don't think so.
No, it's been a good one.
All right. Let me just cue up the song winner from Proof of Eli. Waz, I got to say, I think you chose a good one for your contest. It's a great song. This has been Elf, Dotta, Bear, Entropy, Matto, Jitsi, Givahoot, Meeple Dad, Wild Mage. I've lost track of everybody who came on stage today, but it was a lot of wizards from the Forgotten Runes Wizards Cult. Channeling out from the Quantum Downs. GN, everybody.
Bye.